Vina. Go and give me some of that Vina. Pop that Vina. Turn around, shake that Vina. For this rant video.
Are you ready for more disrespect to the fans because I'm a moron because guess what, ladies and gentlemen, Triple H has decided to go back at it again with the disrespect to the fans. Now, yesterday we discussed Triple H's comments on a recent podcast about how fans on the internet are not real, you know what I'm saying, which is obviously double standard BS because the fans have altered WWE's opinions, you know what I'm saying, and altered the way that they book things multiple times. We've seen this as early as last year's WrestleMania. You understand? You know, the We Want Cody thing was apparently no, you know, the internet's not real, but the We Want Cody thing translated to real life, which translated to WWE changing storylines. We got Final Boss Rock. It mainly ended up being great, and the fans got what they wanted with Cody's title reign. But again, how did that title reign turn out? You know, but that's a different discussion for another day. But now, right, we are now a situation where we're 2 or 3 days from Mania at this point, and Triple H 2 or 3 days from Mania, right, instead of booking a great WrestleMania and, you know, actually building a great build to this show and getting us more excited for these matches and these stories, Triple H is telling fans to F off. That is what this guy is worried about right now. I mean, this is laughable at this point, man. What are you talking about? And it's starting to become really easy to tell that the critiques and the complaints from the fans are starting to get to Triple H because in all these different interviews and podcasts he's doing, he keeps on bringing up the fans and their complaints and their critiques, and he refers to it as B-wording or moaning or complaining, you know what I'm saying? Or F off now, you know? It's absolutely unbelievable what this guy is doing at this point. He's probably already seen multiple different YouTube channels, you know what I'm saying, Twitter accounts, TikToks, Instagrams, calling out his BS, and because of that, now this dude is now upset, you understand? He may have even seen my video, you know what I'm saying, like, at this point, that's just possibly at this point, you know what I mean? So, in WWE, in Triple H, you know, deep down, they know that part of the criticisms and the complaints that they're getting are true, and that's what pisses them off and irritates them inside, because their egos can't handle the fact that their product isn't perfect. You get what I'm saying? So, anyways, yesterday Triple H conducted an interview for WWE's YouTube channel, which, by the way, they made it seem as if this journalist wanted to interview Triple H, but Triple H is the head of the company, so he obviously set this interview up himself, and he's acting like it was a random occurrence, and the interview's talking about some thank you for your time, as if Triple H didn't set this up himself. It's ridiculous, the ego on this guy at this point, man. He's clearly doing this because he wants to talk back to the fans, and he wants to also explain what he's doing for Mania and all this other nonsense. It's done out of selfishness for what he's doing. You understand? So, but anyways, in the interview, he says word for word, this is going to sound offensive, but I wish I could tell people to F off being a critic and to just be a fan. So basically, like yesterday, he's basically telling you to be a bot and consume the content. Do not critique, do not ask questions. Enjoy the content, enjoy the product like a bunch of sheep, and don't ask questions. And you see, Triple H and WWE, they have this stupid, idealized version of themselves in a way, right? So they say everything is amazing, everything's awesome, you understand, everything is perfect, the business is booming, it's the best it's ever been, Cody's the workhorse fighting champion, he's awesome, and because of this, right, WWE, whenever they get any sort of criticism or any sort of backlash, it's just automatically either the internet isn't real, or you're complaining, or you're moaning, or you're just, you know, you need to F off and just watch it as a fan. It's ridiculous. WWE and Triple H want 100% of the credit and 0% of the blame. So they brag on social media when the social media numbers are great. Look at this segment here, guys. Cena turned heel. You got hundreds of millions of views. Look at this segment from Survivor Series. Roman Reigns and Punk, they got hundreds of millions of views. And they brag about gates and nonsense and, you know, how they went overseas and did this and did the live event. And it's just basic inflation and sponsors and deals. You know, obviously things are going to be more expensive now. They're going to be paying more than ever. I mean, what, a decade ago, movie ticket prices were like the single digits, I'm pretty sure, right? Or at least around $10. Now they're like upwards around like $20. So it's just over time things grow. So now when you're getting all these ads and Prime and Snickers and the Minecraft movie and all this nonsense, yeah, you're going to be making more money off that. But is your product getting better? No, and you know it's not getting better because the viewership is going down, but the complaints from the fans are going up. So that's all you need to know about that. And so what WWE does is they boast about when things go good. You know, when social media is positive, they boast about it and how amazing it is. But when it isn't positive, all of a sudden they start coping and defending absolute and utter Garbage. That is what WWE does. And it's so weird to me because here's the thing. In the Attitude Era, no one on commentary was talking about man, we broke this gate record. We sold this many tickets. Mania did this. Our product is great. Look at the viewership, guys. We're getting nearly 8 million a week. We're awesome. We're doing this. No one did that. Do you ever see LeBron James go on Instagram talking about how great he is every day? Do you ever see Tom Brady when he was playing? Did you ever see him going on Twitter every day bragging about his championships? No one does this stuff. Because if something is truly great or if someone is truly great, people just recognize it naturally, and you don't constantly have to tell people how great something is. But when they know that the product isn't good deep down, but they have to make a facade image to brainwash fans, which we'll talk about in a second, that's why Cody Rhodes, gets the lies and gets glazed by random wrestlers. Randy Orton has to go out there in the ring and tell Cody, you've accomplished more than anything I've ever done in my life. Cody's a one-time world champion. Orton's a 14-time world champion, but he's telling the one-time world champion that he's done more than Randy's ever done. It is ridiculous. There's no justification for this stuff. He wants people to sit back and be bots. Don't critique this stuff because we know it sucks. We know it doesn't make any sense. We know it's nonsensical. So we're hoping that you will just watch and be, fall in line with the brainwashed nature of what we're talking about. So they say things like, oh, well, the business is the best it's ever been. The roster's the best it's ever been. No, it's not. Yeah, you may be making the most money you've ever been just because of the product of basic inflation and the sponsors and the deals and all this other nonsense, but the actual product and the roster is not the best it's ever been. You had rosters in the 2000s and the 90s where you had like 10 to 15 Hall of Famers in the main roster alone. Maybe 15 to 20 realistically. You get me? So while views are plummeting heavily, right? You're getting some of the lowest views you've gotten, since you've gone to Netflix with Raw, and you're getting some of the lowest views you've got for SmackDown on USA Network, and the fans are bashing this awful Mania season and this trash content. Triple H is trying to peddle the narrative that things are amazing. Things are great. Just watch it as a fan. Don't critique it. It's absolutely ludicrous to operate like this. It makes no sense. And WWE is built, in many ways, WWE has been built over the decades, through criticism. It just is what it is. The real fans are the ones who watch it as fans, obviously, of wrestling in general and of pro wrestling, which, by the way, gotta mention something about pro wrestling. I saw a segment last night on my YouTube feed, 2 segments, or one of them really was the one I watched fully. MJF in this thing with the Hurt Syndicate on AEW, that segment last night was a banger, okay? I watched it. It was great. MJF, obviously, is one of my favorite wrestlers on the planet. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. I think I have, but he is one of my favorite, and I thought that segment was great, so I want to shout out to MJF and his segment on AEW Dynamite last night. But
All right, so here's the title of the video. If you guys want to go ahead and check out that video, it's really good. Even though I believe it should have done 1 million views because it was going viral on Twitter. So y'all go check out that video. It's really good. It's really good. But shout out to Cjax for shouting out AEW. But like I told you, man, AEW is the shit. You know what I'm saying? You might not like it, but it's good. And that's where people need to, understand. At least at AEW, the segments are great. The bookings is good. And the great thing about it is that, it's still running on air and, it's still putting out great matches, Only thing that's missing is Maya Bay, Anna Jay, Scott Blue, and, of course, Brad Breaker. But nobody wants to talk about her now, don't they? I'm still trying to figure out when is she going to be released. Versus with Maya May, she pretty much don't want to renegotiate with Tony. She just want to go and come to WWE when the bookings are trash. I pray for her, man, because if she come to WWE, I just don't know what they're going to do, but hopefully they don't do the most, and just hope they'll do right by her, because if they don't, I hope her contract is like 1 or 2 years. Otherwise, 5 years of bad booking, I don't think Maya will stand a chance. But hopefully they'll do right by her, hopefully, if she ever come to WWE. But so far, AEW is still promoting her. She's still promoting AEW on her Instagram, so I guess that she's just waiting until her contract is officially done. But however, she's still promoting AEW, just not being in matches and whatnot. I just wish Tony would just put her back on TV just to finish up. But, just to have her face Maya, just to have her face Mercedes, you know what I'm saying? And then when, she lose, then, then you can leave, but they don't want to do that. So who knows when she's coming back on TV, but they pretty much write her off. But Christian Cage is back. So, yeah. But here's the video in case you want to check it out. Let's get back to this video right here.
Anyways, let's get back into what I was talking about, okay? The real fans are the fans who watch as fans, obviously, but also want the product to be as best as it can be. So they're going to enjoy things, when they're enjoyable and actually, watch the products, but they're going to look at things after they watch it and think about what they just watched. And that way, they can think of ways that it can get better, or maybe this didn't work or that didn't work, so they can critique it so things can advance. They don't just watch it just to watch it. That's not the goal. Why do you think movies and shows and entertainment medias exist? You're supposed to be entertained by good content, good storytelling, good entertainment, good quality content, not just sit there and watch it just to watch it. What kind of logic is that? The brainwashed Cody bot fans chanting, Cody, Cody Rhodes, Cody, Cody Rhodes, we are bots. Those are the type of fans that WWE is preying on. Those fans that are getting price gouged and scammed, throwing $8,000 or $10,000 for front 3 row seats for Mania 41 to watch Jey Uso fight Gunther, and to watch Rey Mysterio fight Chad Gable or El Grande Americano, whatever, or to watch Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Really? Or to watch I Can't Stop Thinking About Punk, you know what I mean? But it's absolutely ridiculous at this point. These fans chanting, this is awesome, for a Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven match. You get what are we doing? Or Karrion Kross versus Pete Dunne, and the fans are chanting, this is awesome, this is awesome. No, it's not. This is garbage. Start chanting that and maybe we'll get different results. Triple H says the internet isn't real. Why don't fans start going and chanting this is garbage? Maybe then the internet will look real to you, won't it? So it's just ridiculous at this point. But those are the fans who WWE has brainwashed, and those are the fans that they really like. Not the fans who watch it and critique and actually think about what they watch and are watching it from a perspective of, yeah, I love professional wrestling as a medium. I want to be entertained. I want to enjoy it, so I tune in. But I also want the product to get better when it's not good. That way you can maximize your audience, get back to the viewership that you used to have in the Attitude Era, and not have a situation where over 500 or 700 million people worldwide have Netflix and only 2.8 million are tuning in consistently to watch your product. That's embarrassing. And it's 2.8 million over a week or two period at this point. That's not acceptable. If you're really as great as it's ever been, the business is as best as it's ever been, what do you think would happen if the world had worldwide access to watch WWE during the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era? Every single week, the ratings would be pushing 8 to 10 million for decades. You understand? Until probably the 2010s. That's just what it was. So why are we pretending here that 2.8 million is good and that business is booming? No, it's not. You're making revenue, but your product stinks. The fans know it. They're calling it out now. And because they're calling it out, all of a sudden WWE has to come out with, these cliche interviews and these bot interviews to basically bring up the fact that, hey guys, don't watch our product and critique it. Just watch it and go along with it and enjoy yourselves. Yeah! No. How about that? It's ridiculous at this point. WWE is built by criticism. It's just ridiculous to me. 3 of the most important wrestlers in the history of WWE as a company and in the history of pro wrestling as a whole, John Cena, The Rock, and Roman Reigns. And John Cena obviously is important for multiple different reasons. He carried WWE through some bad eras. He also introduced, he was basically the biggest star they had since Stone Cold and Rock. And, that's just what he did. He came in there consistently as a workhorse champion, a poster boy for the company, a model citizen, at least, to the general public, obviously. I don't know what he was doing on Total Divas. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We got healed John Cena early. But you get that. John Cena was basically there to carry the company and be the face of the company for 10 to 15 years and absolutely carry it. You understand? And he was a great champion. John Cena was a great role model to young kids, doing all the Make-A-Wishes and all that stuff. John Cena was great and very important for this company. The Rock is arguably the most entertaining wrestler, performer in the history of pro wrestling. He just is. He has that much charisma. He was that amazing. Roman Reigns started off as the big dog. He was still putting on good matches, but he still had to figure it out. Became the tribal chief, and boom. Now he's widely regarded as at least one of the top 10 to top 15 wrestlers of all time. That's just what it is. Roman Reigns elevated himself to a different height, and same with The Rock did, compared to his original gimmick, and John Cena coming out there in red tights being a jobber on the verge of being fired. All 3 of these performers became some of the greatest of all time because of criticism. You cannot get a better product or get a better, I'm saying all-time great wrestlers or a better roster without criticism. You can't develop when you have wrestlers barely wrestling and all. Here's the thing. Let me tell you something right now. Rhea Ripley, for example, has probably sent out more tweets than she has wrestled Raw matches in the last 400 days.
See, this every time he bring up Rhea, he always got to do this shit. He talking about Rhea tweet more than she wrestles. Dude, Liv Morgan has 25.8K tweets, and Rhea Ripley has 15.7. The fuck is you talking about? If anybody tweets more than they wrestle, it's Liv Morgan. Okay? Rhea Ripley, it's just this year, obviously, that she's not wrestling. Well, last year she couldn't wrestle because she was injured, but still, it's like, I think the real reason why Cjax doesn't like Rhea is because she don't wrestle as much. Okay, but Liv Morgan wasn't wrestling as much either. So again, if anybody that tell you different, they don't know what the fuck they talking about. I mean, everybody keeps saying that Liv and Rhea are the same. They have the same. They're both of their fan bases are toxic. Both of their fan bases are you said that Rhea has goons as her fan base, when Liv Morgan has the same amount of goons as hers, except Liv Morgan's fan base are 10 times toxic is Rhea. Every time you go on Twitter, you can't say nothing bad about Liv Morgan because everybody in the cut gonna jump on you. Like Liv Morgan's Twitter page, like Twitter is like Liv Morgan's clubhouse. There's ain't nobody fucking with Liv Morgan on Twitter. But when it comes to Instagram, yeah, you could a real fan will got your back. But when it comes to Twitter, Rhea can't. The Rhea fans are not on there all the time. They're on Instagram. So Liv Morgan has Twitter page on. I mean, Liv Morgan has Twitter on lock. You can't fuck with Liv Morgan on Twitter. It's just not worth it. It's not worth the back and forth. Every time you go on Twitter and you talk down on Liv Morgan, you either get blocked or reported, and it's just not worth the fight. It's just not worth the fight. You know what I mean? When the simple thing to do is just be flexible with your tweets if you want to talk about Liv Morgan, but some people just don't care. But Cjax saying that Rhea Ripley tweets more than she fights, wrestle, and no, I don't know. I highly disagree. Okay, Liv Morgan has more tweets than she do, and that's the reason why she has 1.6 million followers on Twitter, because when it comes to Twitter, it's a strong connect. So honestly, I don't know what the fuck Cjax talking about. Rhea does wrestle. Okay, Rhea does wrestle. And for you to just say that she tweet more than she wrestles, that's bullshit. Okay? Go back to talking down on Liv Morgan, bro. Talk about her. Don't talk about Rhea. Every time you talk about Rhea, you talk down on her because she ain't wrestling as much. Don't blame her. Blame Triple H. What do we always say? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Well, the player is playing the game, and you already know what we already know what it is. So I just had to put that picture up because, once I first heard that, I was just like, no, Cjax, I can't let you talk down like that. Like I have to push back on you, bro, because Liv Morgan tweets more than she wrestles. If you want to talk about, facts, and then the fact of the matter is Liv Morgan tweets more than Rhea. Rhea doesn't go on Twitter as much. She go on Instagram, and you know that. So it will make, now if you said something like Rhea posts more Instagram pics or videos than she wrestles, then we could debate. But as far as Twitter, and the more she posts on Twitter than she wrestles, that's cap. Okay, Liv Morgan tweets more than Rhea Ripley, and you wonder why she has a bigger following on Twitter than she does on Instagram. Okay, Liv Morgan has like 3.3 million on her Instagram, right? And Rhea Ripley has 5.4 million. And look at the posts. Rhea Ripley has 2,542 posts, and Liv Morgan has 1,851 posts. So who posts more on Instagram, Rhea or Liv? Exactly. So there you go. Okay, Rhea has a bigger following on Instagram, and Liv Morgan has a bigger following on Twitter. So you know who has their field and who has their clubhouse and who has their backyard. Okay? Rhea Ripley is like Instagram spineless, and Liv Morgan is Twitter spineless. Okay? Because they both are like unstoppable when it comes to those platforms. So you know who has their field. All right? But I just had to but if you don't, hey, listen, if you don't fuck what I'm saying, just look at the picture. Okay? He said that Rhea tweets more than she wrestles. Well, look at this picture. Does it look like Rhea tweets more than she wrestles? Just asking. But let's get back to the video.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's unacceptable. You have to actually have a scenario and things in place to have your wrestlers develop and build themselves. And Seth Rollins said this in a recent podcast. He is worried about this aspect of the current upcoming crop of wrestlers because they're coming in from these NIL deals. They're catered to an NXT. They already got their money guaranteed. They're not doing as many live events. And because of this, they don't have a chance to really iron out and build themselves and improve on their craft. Learn different cadences in the crowd. Learn different moves, different spots, how to sell, how to not sell, how to get the crowd moving and stuff like that as a heel or as a face, how to wrestle as a heel or as a face, how to develop your character and tell stories rather than just putting on good matches. WWE has too many mid-carders and jobbers pretending to be main eventers and being told to us that are main eventers, but they can't tell stories. It's as simple as that. That is the problem with the upcoming crop of wrestling, and we have to sit here and not critique it? We have to just watch and just consume product like a bunch of bots on our conveyor belt. It's unacceptable. If you want WWE to be great, you have to accept criticism from your fans. That's the only way things are going to get better. This current crop of talent has gone soft. That's why Cody Rhodes is allegedly what's called a fighting champion, and he's had the belt now for over a year and has maybe 7 title defenses as a full-time competitor. How is that acceptable? You're lying to us. You know, it's just a bunch of lies. Cody's a fighting champion, but he's not fighting. Gunther's a ring general who's a fighting champion, but he's not fighting. How many people it's going to continue with? Rhea Ripley is a fighting champion. She's amazing. She's the face of the women's division. She's all these great things. One of the legends of the industry today. You know, she's one of the top people in the industry today in the women's division. And she's not wrestling. She's not telling good stories. And she's not cutting good promos. It's all lies. The work in the actual product we're seeing does not line up with what we're being told that we're watching. Like, for example, Cena said to Cody, and this can apply to a lot of wrestlers like Rhea Ripley, other wrestlers as well. Their egos and Triple H and WWE's egos as well do not line up and do not match their abilities. It's as simple as that. You cannot keep on telling us as the fans to sit back and be bystanders and to watch garbage without critiquing it. We want it to get better. How did Triple H get better when he was a performer? By just being told he was great every week? He never had to improve anything, never had to be critiqued, never had to be told what to do or what to improve on? Come on, man. The hypocrisy here is just egregious to me. You know, when things are going great, everything is amazing. Everything is doing phenomenal, guys. Business is the best it's ever been. But then when you turn your back on WWE, quote unquote, and all you're doing really is just critiquing it, all of a sudden, you're just not real. You're a phony. You're moaning. You're complaining. You know what I'm saying? You need to F off and just be a real fan. What? A real fan would rather stab you in the face than stab you in the back. We're all going to tell you, well, at least, a proportion of the fan base is going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not, Triple H or WWE. It's as simple as that. So just start accepting the criticism. And instead of saying, if you don't like it, don't watch. No. Why don't you make better content and make changes and make WWE better? And then we'll start. And then, you may actually be able to pull in more audiences than just your hardcore viewers. That's all you got right now is just hardcore viewers. No one else is tuning in. No one in the mainstream gives a crap about this stuff. Nobody cares about this garbage. Maybe a few of the stars they care about, but other than that, nobody cares. So WWE and Triple H openly telling critics to F off and be a fan rather than be a critic shows you that this current product isn't good, because it gets on Triple H's nerves when people critique and criticize the product, because deep down he knows that some of these fans' complaints are absolutely true, and the critiques that they're giving to the company are 100% factual information. And because he knows that he's making mistakes, because he knows that there's flaws, he has to do this defense mechanism and just shun the fans away and be ignorant about it rather than actually address the issues and make the necessary changes, because it's all about ego. It's about selfishness, and as usual now, it's about corporate BS. That's why you get way more ads than matches and segments. You get, people in WWE, random talents, tweeting way more than you even see them on screen wrestling matches and actually, putting in work in front of us or developing stories or building storylines or cutting good promos. It's as simple as we see it. We're seeing it in front of our faces. The facts are what the facts are, and the facts are this product is going to continue to get worse as long as we have this soft generation of wrestlers and this soft behind booking from Triple H, where everything is just catered to the talent, and no one has to work for anything, and no one is required to get any better on the mic or in the ring. They can just stay at a decent level of average, and if you have a catchy entrance or a cool chant, you're going to get over. And because of that, because you're over in person, it doesn't matter what the millions of people online are saying. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that are they chanting for the person in person when they're at the arena? And if so, then there you have it. That's the simple fact, and that's the simple truth, and we're seeing it in front of our faces. With that being said, I think this video was absolute nonsense. It was corporately done so Triple H could try and cover his tracks and try and explain some of the disasters he's booked for this Mania season and for this WrestleMania in general. And we are going to see in a couple days what's really happening with this supposed amazing content. What's really happening with this supposed elite build, this long-term booking, this new era of greatness. Yeah, we'll see about that. Let's see how great it is in a couple days this weekend. How about that? You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I thank you guys so much for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out and one love.
All right, that's the end of that video. So we got another video where Roman Reigns is, announced that he might be retiring in the next 1 or 2 years. So, yeah, I found out. Yeah, G-Man let me know about this through Twitter, and yeah, man, he might be leaving. And then I won't be surprised because, he's not the only one. I mean, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Randy Orton, John Cena. Yeah, all the greats are pretty much going to leave due to old age and, past ends of their injuries and all that. So, and pursuing better things. We found out Becky Lynch is acting more. She's want to wrestle right now, and that's great. I wish Liv Morgan would do the same thing. But, yeah, I mean, right now, that's the announce table of it, and that's why Cjax is making this video, because he wants to tribute to Roman Reigns for his retirement. It's not early, but he did announce for it, and yeah, and that's why we need to talk about this. So we're gonna let the video play out. It's only 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and get started, and then I'll give my input in the middle, so that way I can tell you how, who I'm really emotional for. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked Roman, but I mean, I got somebody in mind that will probably get me emotional in some way, and Roman's not one of them, but I do appreciate his time of being in WWE and what he has done when he was with the Shield and when he was with the Bloodline and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's not waste no time. All right, let's go.
Wow, man. Roman Reigns, the greatest WWE superstar, the biggest, the best WWE superstar the WWE has had since John Cena, man, is officially saying in a Vanity Fair article recently that he did an interview, okay? This is 100% legit. You can look it up. I'll probably put the screenshots just on the screen. But he basically said that after Mania 42, which is next year, 2026, okay? After that, he said he has another year or two max, and then he's going to pursue a less physical type of entertainment, obviously, probably alluding to acting like, his cousin The Rock did and everything like that. Roman Reigns has obviously been destined for Hollywood for a long time. We've known this. I mean, the part-timing schedule has built up to this moment. We knew that he didn't have maybe more than, once he started going part-time in 2022, we know he had maybe 5 years left. Let's be honest with ourselves. And it looks like that's what's going to happen here, man. This is good for him, the actual human being. I mean, we know he's had his past with leukemia. I'm glad that he's even still, here with us and, still able to entertain us and do all the great things he has done for WWE and for the fans and all that stuff. But, man, this is unfortunate, man. This really stinks, dude. Knowing that he only has a few more years left. Dang, bro. What's next? Rollins said in an interview recently that he's got 5 more years left. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if that, CM Punk will be done in a couple years. Orton will be done in a couple years. Cena's done at the end of this year. The Rock's got one more match, and that's his match versus Roman probably at Mania next year, and that's that. I mean, what do you have, bro? You're going to be left with Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes, man. Really? You know what I mean? I mean, wow, dude. I'm just so shocked right now, man. I am happy, though, to see that Roman's going to be doing some Hollywood stuff. That's going to be fun. I definitely will be watching his movies, but, man, bro, This is tough, dude. This really stinks. Roman being my de facto by a mile favorite wrestler in today's, day and age. The last decade basically has been my favorite wrestler. Well, behind Cena and Rock, obviously, but still, just seeing the fact that he will be done in a few years is really unfortunate, man. I mean, he's given so much to this industry. He's given so much to WWE. He really helped revive it. I mean, he carried this company for years, bro. Since 2020, he's been carrying on his back, dog. Just think, if you remove Roman out of the equation from 2020 onwards, what would you have had? This company probably would have gone bankrupt and died, or at least been close to it. They're already heading down now that he's not even there barely anymore. It's just, wow, bro. That's really unfortunate, man. I will say, I think this basically confirms that Roman Reigns is probably going to have maybe 3 or 4 more major feuds in his entire career. I think he's got a program with probably Seth. Definitely Seth, obviously, and then maybe with The Rock one more time if they are one time if they do that, and then I think he has a program with CM Punk. They'll probably do that at SummerSlam this year. They'll do a one-on-one with them, but man, after that, bro, Roman's likely gonna bow out, dog. Next year at Mania, he's either gonna fight Seth in the main event or he's gonna fight Rock in the main event. Probably gonna be a I Quit match or a Tribal Combat or a Last Man Standing, whatever the heck, to fully close out both of those situations and those stories. And he'll probably be on his way out, man. He may have one more feud for Mania 43 and that's done, So yeah, just, man, bro, Roman Reigns being done is that's desolate, dude. What's next? This is why I always talk about how WWE doesn't build any stars. They have nothing new coming in the pipeline, because when guys like Roman now, for example, are on their way out, you have nothing to take their place. So it's just, it's really a disaster, man. I really hope that they can build up some new superstar in the meantime. But now that the wrestling has died so much since, for example, right, when the Shield came in with Roman, Seth, and Mox, or Dean Ambrose, yesterday, and I call him Mox because it sounds cooler, but, when those 3 came in 2012, the business was bigger than it is now, arguably, in many ways. It got more viewership week to week. I feel like more people were watching, obviously, because of that, hence the viewership, obviously, and I feel like it was in a bigger spot because it was just coming off the tails of the beginning of the PG era and the end of the Ruthless Aggression, a few years in between that. It was honestly in a better spot, I'd say. It was definitely a more watched product, I guess you could say. It was a little bit more mainstream, and now it's just died down. The other promotions barely get 600K. Raw barely gets 2.8 million globally. You have SmackDown struggling to pull 1.5, 1.6 million consistently on USA. SmackDown was just getting 2.4 a year and a half ago with Roman as champ. So things have just gone down, man, since Roman started to be a part-timer, and he's now, we're saying when he lost the belt to Cody, and Cody's just carried it on in the worst way possible. So, man, yeah, it's WWE's just headed downwards, man. I don't know if this company's still going to be anything really of value or meaning once Roman is done. Unless they have they need at least 2 or 3 genuinely amazing all-time great level talents to become superstars within the next year or 2, bro. They got to get this hashed out probably by next year at the latest. They need to have dudes in place. Because when Roman's done, you need to have a superstar to fill up that vacuum space. You know what I mean? And it's just, I got to see what they do. I'm definitely nervous for this company for sure. I mean, aren't we all at this point? I mean, look at this Mania build. Look at this Mania season. It's been atrocious. And then you look at last year, what happened when Roman was out of the equation, and it was just 4 months or 5 months of garbage. September to November of last year were the only bearable parts of 2024 besides the Mania build and then Mania itself. So I don't know, man. We'll see what happens with this, but yeah, just wanted to share that news, and I had to talk about it, man. This is urgent. This is one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time, announcing that his retirement is happening within the next few years. So, yeah, had to discuss it. Wanted to make this vid. Man, Roman Reigns, bro, the OTC, the Tribal Chief. This low-key makes me more excited for Mania 41 and its triple threat, even though the build sucks and the story is garbage. But I will still be excited because it is now one of Roman's final Mania main event level matches. So I'm just going to have to sit back and enjoy it. It's probably one of Punk's final ones as well. His only one, and it's probably the second to last one if he even has one next year. A Mania main event. He'll be on the card next year, but I don't know if he'll main event, so we'll see. And then Rollins, same thing. So, man, Roman Reigns retiring in a few years, or at least stepping away from WWE heavily in the next couple years. So we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, wow. Roman Reigns, OTC. We'll follow this story as it develops. I'm sure we'll get more interviews and podcasts with him coming soon when it comes to, his Hollywood stuff and over the summer and all that, and his WWE stuff he's going to be doing soon. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, man, OTC out. And let's just hope that WWE can build some great stars in their place. I mean, No more Cena. No more Rock soon. No more Punk soon. No more Orton soon. No more Rollins in the next couple years as well. No more Roman Reigns. Dang, dude. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, a 45-year-old LA Knight. Kevin Owens, we don't even know if he's ever coming back. Sami Zayn's on the back burner. Cody Rhodes is a jobber, a mid-carder pretending to be a main eventer. It's just, and you have Triple H at the helm booking it poorly. I don't know. All I can say is my confidence levels are not high for this company once Roman Reigns officially exits, you know what I'm saying, for an extended period of time after he eventually retires the next few years. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below.
Okay. Well, I just want to pause real quick because he's going to continue. I mean, he's going to continue with the video. But I just want to pause real quick because, yeah, I mean, like I said, I rock with Roman Reigns. You know what I mean? I won't say he's one of my favorites, but I do respect him for what he has done for WWE when, he had his own group with the Bloodline. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, it's just amazing when I see people like Vanessa Hewins wearing him on her shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I saw her with a Roman Reigns shirt, I was shocked because I'm like, damn, I can't believe Shawty's a fan of Roman Reigns. That's crazy. But when I saw that shirt, I was just like, yo, Roman's up top. You know what I mean? People know Roman, man. That's crazy. When Vanessa Hewins was wearing that shirt, I was just like, yeah, he's over. He's definitely over. Hey, man, I'm down for Roman Reigns doing acting, but him leaving the company, I'm not going to be too emotional if he leaves. But however, the main person I will be emotional for, if fired or not, is Raquel Rodriguez. That's the person I don't want to see leave this company. And it's mainly because, for one, she's a single mother, with one daughter. And I just don't want to see her go, especially when WWE has done a whole lot to make sure she was financially good. And then to see her go because they don't believe in her anymore like they did when she was in NXT. I don't think I could accept that. I don't think I could bear with that. Just because I care a lot about Raquel and to see her career go downhill once she leaves the Judgment Day and leaves Liv Morgan is just insane to me when they could have done something to keep them, to keep her relevant. You know what I'm saying? It's just a shame, that WWE is just counting their favorites and whatnot. And I understand people like Liv Morgan. I get it. I like her too. But see, I like the 2023 Liv Morgan, the one that won Money in the Bank and the one that won her first ever championship against Ronda Rousey at Money in the Bank. That's the Liv Morgan I miss and that I adore. And I was hoping that she would retain, but because of Ronda Rousey is one of the reasons why she couldn't. And she had to wait till she joined a group in order for her to get some gold. And now that's not a problem. That's not the issue. I think the main issue is just the fact that she had to use Dom in order for her to get some gold. The first time it was like, all right, cool. The second time it's like, all right, bro. And then the third time it's like, really, nigga? Well, yeah, it's just sad, man. And I just don't want to see Raquel in that predicament. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to see Raquel as a jobber. If you're not going to get her in the Women's World title reign, then at least have her win the Intercontinental Championship. At least have her win the United States Championship. At least have her win those. You don't have to have her win the WWE Women's Championship. You don't have to. You don't have to have her win the Women's World Championship. You don't have to. But at least have her win the mid-card title so she get elevated. Same with Roxanne, help her, have her win something, it's just, again, I want Raquel to succeed. And I understand some people don't like her. But you can't be a fan of Liv Morgan if you're not a fan of Raquel, because they're a team. And at the end of the day, you dissing Raquel because she's not good in the ring, it's just it's just straight hate. You guys always get under my skin about Liv Morgan and saying I'm a hater, I don't like Liv Morgan. Okay, but I love Raquel, and I don't give you the right to hate on Raquel. Raquel is teaming up with Liv Morgan, and you are rather for Liv Morgan to be with Dom, but don't want Liv Morgan to be with Raquel when they're part of a group. I just don't understand. Hot Ones is not even, like, don't get me wrong, it got 500,000, but the problem is it's not growing as fast as Rhea Remy's video with Kevin Hart. Her video is getting up to 2 million in one day, versus with Liv and Dom, their video is still under 600K. So it's gonna be a minute for it to grow. It's gonna be a minute for it to get up to 1 million. It's gonna be a minute. But will it get up to 1 million before this month ends? Probably. But it's growing very slow. And I think the only way the video can go viral is if they break up this weekend at WrestleMania 41. But I don't know about that because of the Wyatts and, possibly Cora Jade and Roxanne. They're going to need some help with that, even though they shouldn't, because those two are not hard to beat. But because I predict there'll be a story between Dom and Roxanne is one of the reasons why Dom is probably going to be by their corner, But but that doesn't matter. The main thing is just Raquel. Like, I really want Raquel to succeed. And hopefully when she does betray Liv Morgan, that she will go after the gold. But will she win? Man, look, if Laura Vice can't win an NXT title, whether it's the North American or the NXT title, I don't know if Raquel is going to win any title, but I hope she wins the mid-card title at least. Otherwise, they're going to pass it to Roxanne, and I don't know. I did hear that Roxanne's supposed to get a single push after WrestleMania, but I don't know. We won't believe it till we see it, right? So, yeah, I'm praying for Raquel, man. I really hope she succeeds. Otherwise, she's gone. And I really don't want her to leave because I'm going to be angry as fuck if Raquel leaves without accomplishing anything since she got to the main roster, but win a tag team belt, Yeah, I pray for her, man, because I really don't want her to leave. I mean, all I want her to do is just win some gold, But yeah, I don't really got much to say about Roman. But Roman retiring, I mean, because to me, it's like Roman retiring is like Roman getting new opportunities. Versus with Raquel, what opportunity will she get? I mean, I said that she should go to TNA, because they support Latinas over there, So, but still, I really hope she succeeds. Because if she don't, I'm gonna be very, very angry. But yeah, Roman will be fine, man. But that's the main person I'm more concerned about. That's the main person I'll be emotional for if anything happens to her. Just because I care a lot about Raquel. So, but yeah. But let's get back to the video.
So I'm not happy about this news. That's why I'm not upset. I'm just like, dang, bro. It's like you're taking it back. Because I saw when Roman entered. That was like the third or fourth year I'd been watching wrestling. By 2012, yeah, about the fourth year I've been watching wrestling, and seeing him and Mox and Rollins debut, and see the 13 years now in the future, man. Life has gone by so fast, bro. 2012, the Shield was just debuting. 2026 next year, and they're going to be exiting, bro. At least Roman is, and then Rollins will be following suit probably a year or two after that. So yeah, man, that's just crazy to see how fast time flies, bro. You really just got to sink in every moment. Just enjoy every enjoy every experience you can, and just sink in the moment as much as possible, because you never know how long you have left realistically. So hope the best for Roman Reigns in his Hollywood career. Hope the best in what he's going to do over the next 2 or 3 years, that he's still in WWE and still doing, matches and feuds and stories and all that. But man, this is unfortunate for us WWE fans, but I'm still going to be supporting him regardless, so it is what it is. We'll see how this development unfolds, but yeah, man, I guess we got to do it for the one time. Roman Reigns! Roman Reigns! You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it is what it is. But anyways, man, thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Peace out, and yeah, man, one love, man. Wow, I'm just, man, taken aback, bro. Let me know in the comment, what do you guys think about this, dude? Let me just keep going for another minute or two. Like, what do you guys really think about this, man? Like, the trajectory of this company now that he's done is just so poor. It's so bad. There's so many weeks of SmackDown in 2023 and weeks of Raw as well that just have no star power, man. Like, even though Rollins is on certain shows, like, he's not what Roman is. He just isn't. You know what I mean? It just isn't the same. Roman has that aura, that impact, that storytelling, that emotion, that impact. He just has that intrigue to him, dude. And, it's just unfortunate. You look at some of the Raw episodes of the last couple of years, there's just no stars on them, dude. Like, why am I watching a main event with Penta versus, like, Braun Breaker? Like, that's not a star-worthy level show. Raw used to end with Triple H versus John Cena, or Shawn Michaels versus Orton, or Shawn Michaels versus Cena. A collection of, 5 to 10 Hall of Famers usually rotating through them every year, with your Batistas and your Takers and your Edges and your Jerichos, your prime CM Punks, your Cenas. Sometimes The Rock would be in there as a part-timer in the early 2010s. Like, they had so much stuff going on, man. And now you look at Raws, and most of your main events are consistent of the same 5 guys, with it being Braun Breaker or Penta, or just a segment like a promo main eventing or things like that. And then SmackDown is just in the doldrums. We all know this. SmackDown sucks without Roman Reigns, and it just sucks in general, even with him now, because the story stinks. So, wow. Yeah, we're gonna figure some things out. We're definitely gonna have to we're definitely gonna have to talk about this in another video even longer about this, but yeah, those are just my immediate thoughts to the fact that Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the big dog, the OTC, you know what I'm saying, the powerhouse of the Shield, whatever you want to call him, is going to be stepping away from wrestling in the next few years, man. So there you have it. And let me know what you think in the comment section about this news. And yeah, as always, have a phenomenal day. Peace out, one love, and raise your ones to the sky and acknowledge your tribal chief. I guess, the OTC arc still sucks, don't get it wrong, what I'm saying? But we love Roman Reigns, man. He's a all-time great, best of the generation, big dog, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Deuces, ooses.
That's what it is. So, guys, make sure you guys watch Stand and Deliver this Saturday at 12 p.m. for the pre-show. And WrestleMania will be Saturday and Sunday, but we will be going live for Sunday for night 2 for the Fatal 4-Way match between Dom, Finn, Penta, and Braun Breaker. And also Cody versus Cena, because everything else is just like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys turn on your notifications if you subscribe to watch Stand and Deliver this Saturday. And like I said, the pre-show starts at 12, so we got to watch the pre-show because of the Fatal 4-Way match. And also, night 2 will be going live to watch the Fatal 4-Way match between Dom, Finn, Penta, and Braun Breaker, and Cody versus Cena. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new. And I'll catch y'all in the next video. All right, I'm out.